right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Hello and welcome into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm your host tonight, Cassidy Wood. I'll be joined alongside Brian Batko here shortly. There he is. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Cassidy. How you doing?
I'm great. You know, I was over at Highmark tonight. I wanted to shout out the Riveters. Just such an incredible environment out there tonight. The inaugural game for this inaugural season of this pro women's soccer club here in Pittsburgh. So all week we've been over there. They had their first practice Monday, jersey reveal on Wednesday, and tonight was that first official game. And I mean, it was standing room only, Bri. It was a sellout, over 6,000 people, fourth largest crowd in Highmark Stadium history. So, I mean, the people showed out, and they it proves that, hey, they want to see pro women's soccer here in Pittsburgh. So it was really exciting.
And a lot of competition for the entertainment dollar this weekend in Pittsburgh. You got Monster Jam, Pearl Jam. I don't know if we could rename the show the Sports Jam for tonight.
Yeah,
but,
I like
yeah,
that.
I mean, that's cool. I mean, people can only do so much in one weekend, so nice to see that there was a big crowd out there.
Yeah, I feel like Pittsburgh, man. I mean, there's always so much to do here, but yeah, this weekend I feel like the events are stacked, but super, super fun out there tonight. They will be home again on Tuesday the 27th playing Cleveland again. So if you guys couldn't make it out there tonight, get out there on Tuesday the 27th. It'll be a fun time. Now, the Buccos right now play in the Phils. They're up 3-1, bottom of the 7th. Canario with a 3-run homer. It's Canario again. He looks like a different hitter and, just very exciting. Bryce Harper also hit his 1,000th career RBI tonight. So big milestone for Bryce Harper. And, Andrew Heaney, though, I think he's commanding that mound and, we'll see what ends up happening tonight. But hopefully they can keep these wins rolling in because, I mean, they're kind of playing catch up at this point. So
maybe a little consistency helping for Canario. It's one of those issues where first gets in there and some struggles off the bat, but sometimes you got to let these young guys or these new guys work through it a little bit, and maybe that's a little easier now with the manager change. I think there's just inherently more of a challenge to do that when you're Derek Shelton and you're feeling the pressure and the heat every night. Now, Donnie Kelly probably got a little more leeway and a little more runway to get this thing off the ground if he can. Yeah,
I mean, it definitely feels I can't really say yet if it's a good or bad difference, but it definitely feels different ever since Schulte left. So we'll see if this continues, but definitely juiced up there in the clubhouse. It just feels different. That's all I'm going to say. But big news today, too. It seems like this is all everyone was talking about today, the possibility of Chris Olave coming here to Pittsburgh. Brian, I'm having like deja vu a little bit. I feel
flashbacks, yeah.
I mean, it's like, Brandon Ayuk all over again. Here we are. But unfortunately, I feel like this is a saga that's going to continue into July, really, and it could continue into training camp and past training camp. But just waiting for a potential wide receiver, too, after trading George Pickens today. Multiple reports coming out that the Steelers have contacted New Orleans to potentially trade for Chris Olave. And, Chris Olave drafted in 2022 by New Orleans. He's been there since. He's a solid receiver. And I would not mind bringing him here to Pittsburgh. But what are your thoughts?
It looked like Chris Olave was on a really good trajectory coming out of Ohio State in that same draft class as his teammate in Columbus, Garrett Wilson. And, Olave's just had a lot of injury issues and, even scarier kind of than your typical injury issues. I mean, he's had a lot of concussions. I think 5 documented ones, and he's one of those guys who last season he was kind of in that gray area like Tua Tagovailoa was at one point, where it's like, hey, is he going to be able to come back this season or at all? So you wish for the best for Chris Olave's health, but as far as if he can get back on the field, then yeah, I mean, he is still very much an intriguing player. I'm skeptical that this is going to go anywhere because the Saints don't seem like they're in any rush to move off of him, and I don't know what the Steelers would offer necessarily. But if you're Omar Khan, and this is one thing he always says, Cassidy, he's not going to turn his back on any deal that potentially improves the team if the value is right. Like I said, I just have a very hard time believing that those two teams are going to agree on any sort of compensation there. But he's doing his due diligence, and if we're being honest, I'm sure he and the Steelers don't mind it getting out there a little bit that, yeah, guys, we're trying. We're not trying for this to be like 2024 all over again with the receiver room.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely gives you a little bit of confidence having these types of conversations in May rather than, in July. Guys, that is our question of the night tonight. Should the Steelers try to trade for wide receiver Chris Olave? You can scan your phone up there, scan the QR code, and click sports and vote there. So far, we have 50% saying yes. Whoa, it's changing already. And no, and injuries are a concern. Look, I'm going to have to go yes on this one. I just think that I'm more of a proponent in bringing in a vet that you already know what they're capable of. And yes, the injuries are scary with Olave, but I'm always a proponent on I'm always an advocate for bringing someone in rather than banking on some of these rookies in the draft. I mean, it's just, especially once you get to the third, fourth, fifth and rounds, I mean, it's really, really tough to predict how these rookies are going to perform at the pro level and in the NFL. So I think, sometimes it's a better decision to go with a vet rather than bank on the draft.
Yeah, I think they certainly should try. I don't blame them for that, but it's just going to be a matter of, okay, well, what would you realistically be willing to give up for this guy to try to pry him away from a Saints team that, yes, they are rebuilding, to put it mildly. Derek Carr retiring sort of abruptly this offseason. They're turning it over to second-round pick Tyler Shuck out of Louisville. It wasn't too long ago that we were uttering that name a lot in terms of the Steelers' search for a quarterback in this past draft. But, the Saints aren't going anywhere this year. However, Olave is still a young guy who can be a part of the future for them if and when they do get their quarterback situation settled again. So, would I give a third for him? I don't know about that. And I think it'd be difficult to get anything in terms of day 3 draft capital, even though we are well aware that the Steelers are going to have a lot of it next season. So, I mean, the receiver room, hey, I think it's better at the top, DK Metcalf replacing George Pickens. I think it's better kind of 3 through 5 than it was a year ago with Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson having another season under their belts. But I think a lot of people are still justifiably concerned about that number 2 role.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair to Roman Wilson, we don't really know what the guy can do yet. I mean, realistically, he got 5 seconds of playing time in a preseason game. We don't know what he's capable of. So he could very well go out there and stun all of us. And then, that's awesome for us. But all right, guys, we're going to head to break. Give us a call, though, 412-575-2600. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back. This is your Xfinity Mobile tweet of the night. A hard-fought first to begin for Riveters history today. Just, like I said, top of the show. Very, very fun time out there at Highmark. History was made tonight. First professional women's soccer club here in the city completed that game. Unfortunately, it ended in a draw, 0-0, and didn't really get the win, but hey, they didn't get a loss. So, it's better than a loss.
Undefeated and unscored upon still, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly. Live score update, too, by the way. Phil's just tied it up. It's 3-3, bottom of the 7th right now, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with this one. Getting back to the NFL, though, you mentioned Tua. I want to talk about him a little bit because and the NFL schedule obviously was released. The Steelers, I think, yet again, have a bit of a gauntlet at the end of this year. And among that gauntlet at the end are the Dolphins. And I was having a debate with a friend of mine about this earlier, and I don't really know what to expect from the Dolphins yet. I think it's just so scary what Tua has gone through, and I really thought after that 3rd concussion he was going to hang it up. And to see him come back and, fight back the way he is, I mean, it's very impressive, but I think in the same breath, you're a little bit concerned about his health, and I don't know. I don't really know what to make of this Dolphins team this year.
Yeah, and I think they're going to be one of the teams kind of fighting, to get that last playoff spot or two with the Steelers in the AFC. And, I really like Mike McDaniel as their head coach, but it feels like time's running out there. They just haven't been able to get over the hump. Been some questions, sometimes even from the inside, about whether they've got enough toughness to win when it matters. Their playoffs, their playoff appearance a couple years ago against the Chiefs did not go according to plan, albeit it was negative 20-degree temperatures for that one. But, they've got a lot of talent on the roster. And when Tua plays, they're certainly more dangerous. But it feels like if it doesn't go their way this year, that could be the end of the McDaniel regime. And I'll just say from a Steelers standpoint, Cassidy, if you're going to play the Dolphins, especially in Pittsburgh, getting them in December, I think that's a win. Anytime they have to come up from nice, warm, and sunny South Beach.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. I mean, look, gauntlet of a schedule at the end of the year, but yeah, getting Miami here in Pittsburgh is going to be fantastic because, yeah, that's just, their record is crazy. I want to say it's like 16-4 in games that are under 20 degrees or something. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to
Those are the games you should be built to win in the AFC North if you're the Steelers. Now, it's one thing when you're bumping heads with the Ravens, Browns, or Bengals or Bills in those cold weather games, but come on, if it's the Dolphins, you should be able to assert your will, assert your dominance in those moments.
Oh, yeah. And on kind of that note, I mean, AFC North games, they're not seeing a divisional game till what, week 6, week 7? I mean,
week 6, yeah.
Yeah, it's not as bad as last year, but like, my gosh, it seems like they just, you know, always want to have the Steelers play their hardest games, their divisional opponents in like November, December, which is not when you want to see these teams.
And once again, you know, they don't play the Ravens before December. I mean, that seems like year in and year out with them. The NFL is just stacking those matchups at the end of the season. I was walking through the Inner Harbor last year before that regular season finale, I guess it was, with a friend, or maybe it was, I guess it was probably the playoff game, and just saying, are we ever going to be in this city for a Steelers game when it's warm outside and I don't have to be buttoned up? I guess not. This is not the year. So they're once again going to have to bring their best against the Ravens down the stretch.
Yeah, and then that final game too. I mean, the regular season finale against the Ravens. And that's just going to be a huge question mark because knowing how it always pans out, that game is going to mean everything to the Steelers for playoff implications. But for the Ravens, they're probably going to play their JV squad, like all their backups. And so it's just going to be, yet again, I just don't know why they do this time and time again. Why can't we get like a Cincy or a Cleveland at the top of the season? I miss that. Like
it's May 16th, but right now my schedule prediction for the Steelers, when you go down the win-loss game by game by game, I'm saying they're going to be 8-8 going into that regular season finale, and they will beat Cooper Rush and the Ravens, resting their starters to finish 9-8 and keep that above 500 streak going. Not sure that'll cut it to make the postseason in the AFC, though.
I got to ask you, did you blindly do that? Like you went down win-loss, and then that was just your record at the end, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. You know, I knew I had to stay within Steelers land, which of course is 9-8 to 11-6. There's not a whole lot of wiggle room on either side of that, as long as Mike Tomlin is the coach, and that even predates him going back to when Ben Roethlisberger got here, that streak. So I'm not going to believe it with my own eyes until I actually see this team finish under 500. So I don't think they're going to improve on last season's record necessarily, but I think they'll find some wins here and there. They very well could sweep this Browns team. I mean, I think Cleveland might be the worst team in the NFL this season, so it's beneficial to have them in the division. This time around, however, they always seem to steal one against the Steelers, especially when it's up there.
Yeah, mine's a little different. I did the same thing. I blindly went down, win-loss, all of them, and I ended up with 11-6. So
a little more optimistic, a little rosier.
Just a little more optimistic. I will say this, it's because of the beginning of the schedule. Right, I can see them going into the bye week 4-0. And I know that sounds crazy on paper, but like going game by game, week 1 at New York, I mean, double revenge game. Let's say Aaron Rodgers actually comes here, which is what everyone's assuming at this point. That's a win. Home opener against Seattle. Yeah, Seattle, Sam Darnold, gonna be a little tricky, but with a home opener, I don't want to talk about the Niners 2 years ago. That's an outlier. Other than that, the home openers.
Brock Purdy just got paid.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
You know, I'm sure that game being part of his resume doesn't hurt.
Oh my gosh, got paid $181 million guaranteed. It's I think $53 million per year. So now he's in the top 8 of highest paid quarterbacks in the league. He went from what, $700K?
Mr. Irrelevant, Mr. Irrelevant to Mr. 50-some mil a year. Good for him.
Yeah. I mean, he's right up there, top 8. Dak still at the top, 60 a year. Like, okay.
now the Cowboys need to find money to pay Micah Parsons.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, I would not want to be the Cowboys right now. But, so I count Seattle a win. You know, the Patriots, Drake May, I don't know. I don't know what to think about Drake May.
Yeah, I think that could be a tricky one. I think Mike Vrabel's going to have the Patriots playing better football this season than they did last year with Gerard Mayo.
Yeah, and you know Vrabes has his hands in everything over there too. And he does scare me. But then in Ireland, the Vikings. I'm sorry, I'm counting that as basically a home game. I was talking to Arthur Moats the other night. He was here before they did the schedule show. And look, there's so many Steeler fans in Dublin, and I count that as a home game. I know the Vikings travel well, but I'm counting that one as a home game, and I really do think the Steelers win that one. So, I mean, early bye week this year, week 5, but I can definitely see them going in 4-0. I know that sounds crazy, but when I broke it down game by game, I'm like...
Yeah, I'm going to say 3-1. I'm going to say they lose one of those 4. I tend to agree with you that they will travel well to Dublin. Mike Tomlin will get them up for that game, but I don't really know what to make of J.J. McCarthy. How could you?
Yeah.
Stepping in as a second-year guy for the Vikings who hasn't played an NFL snap yet. So between that game potentially being tricky, going to New England potentially being tricky, even week 1, I mean, I don't know what to expect from the Jets with that new regime and Justin Fields. You know, he might know a little bit about how to get through that Steelers defense. So I think they win 3 of those 4.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, with the Vikings, hey, it pretty much writes itself. JJ to JJ. They just got to, figure it out. He has, like, the best wide receiver in the league right now. So, I mean, as long as he can sling it a little bit, he should be okay. All right, let's go to Michael in Beaver Falls. He wants to chat about some Steelers. Michael, what's going on?
Excellent. It's been quite some time since I've heard your voice, Cassidy. Smooth.
Yeah.
Brian, how y'all doing tonight?
Good.
Good, Michael, thanks.
Oh, great. I get a feeling the Steelers are going to have a good year. I don't know why, but please, no more Rodgers. We don't need Rodgers.
That was the first time he's been mentioned on the show tonight, right?
You know what, Brian? I did that. I was trying to do that on purpose because I know everyone is so sick of hearing the name Aaron Rodgers, but I'm sorry to say I think he is coming here. I really do. I mean, for a long time there, I was so hesitant, and I was like, nah, he's not coming here. He's not coming here. And then now I think it's probably like 80-20, 90-10 that he is. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, guys, we're going to head a break. Give us a call, 412-575-2600. We want to hear from you guys. Also, remember to vote on that poll, KDKA.com/connect. Welcome back to the Island Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We're going to check in now with the news desk and see what they have coming up at 11. Hey, Ken.
Hey, Cassidy. Tonight, Ray Petlin's tracking more severe weather moving through the region, plus the local borough loses its entire fire department, and a KDK investigation prompting action from state lawmakers. All coming up right here at 11. I'll see you then.
All right. Thank you, Ken. Well, that about wraps it up for Sports Call, guys. We will not have a Sports Call tomorrow night. The Riverhounds are playing right here on KDKA+. You can check out the game tomorrow night, so no Sports Call. And then Sunday, those girls flag football championships over at Highmark as well. So I'll be over there. And yeah, we'll have Sports Call Sunday night, back to regularly scheduled programming. But Brian, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Guys, I hope you have a great night, and I'll see you next time.